Hello, welcome back to another Joevember video. Probably the last one that's officially in Joevember, but I'm sure I will continue to cover G.I. Joe because I've been really having a lot of fun talking about it, and we have a lot of issues that are coming out. The issues are now coming out every 2 weeks. We're in the middle of the Dreadnought War, which has been great so far. Really enjoyed both issues 13 and 14. Before we go any further in the video, I do want to mention that now all of Tom's original pages from issues 13 and 14 are available for sale over at modernmythologycomicart.com. So if you're interested in looking to pick up a page from either one of these issues, go check them out. They just posted them, and also there are some covers available as well as some character designs. So yeah, go check out the website. So today I wanted to take a look at some scans from issue 13 and do what I've done before as some of the original art review, talk about the issue, but also mainly just to kind of show off the pages from the issue itself, because it's just so much fun. I love talking about Tom's art, and so we're going to do that. We're going to talk about issue 13 today, and then I'll probably record a 14 issue at some point in time, but with the holidays coming up, it's going to be tough finding time to carve out here. So carve Thanksgiving. So let's jump into it. We're going to talk about issue 13, and it starts off. It gets us caught up to speed as to what is going on with Cobra at the moment, and they're running low on energon resources. So they have been able to synthetically create some energon they've powered their bats and other weaponry with, and then but it's they are running out of raw energon, and that's what you see on this page. It's a nice. It's kind of patched together with some elements because it's got the that like canister on the left, which shows digitally added. It was like a lightning kind of some effects to show the synthetic energon. Then it shows what weapons that has created, and then I like that it kind of frames it again with the hiss tanks on top, with the bats, and then the weapons in the bottom. It just kind of mimics the shape of that canister on the left, and then on the right, it's he reused the canister imaging, but then you get in the middle is the raw energon, and you get this doctor here who was just like, look, we're running out of resources, and I've done all that I can do. I'm sick of working for Cobra, so just kill me. And he's just ready to no longer be subjected to having to create these weapons for Cobra. So what we're going to do is we're going to skip page 2, and there's a reason. We'll come back to it. I will explain that once we get later in the issue. There's some kind of Tom did some Tom things when it comes to creating page 2, and then also the last page of the issue. So we'll circle back to that later on in the issue. Then on page 3, you see more of the doctor kind of leaving, and in that page, he's just like, I just want to die, and it's you get the body language of what's going on. And then and you get Destro and Ripper, who they're talking about. There's some they've picked up these signals, these energon signals. So they've could be the Transformers, could be other whatever. So they're looking to go investigate some of these energy signals. And Destro is kind of plotting here, thinking of an idea. But in page 4, you get a really strong image of Cobra Commander at the top of that page, kind of getting up from his throne. And I love the cape kind of swooshing in the wind there. But this one's another one. It's a great example of the Destro, the ongoing Destro and Cobra Commander relationship. It's Destro wanting information from Cobra Commander, and Cobra Commander saying dismiss it, just so dismissive of Destro, nope, you don't need to know this. But again, you get the reflection of his hand in the Cobra Commander's visor. We'll see that numerous times throughout the issue. The more and more we look at Tom's art, the more and more there are examples, especially in this book with Cobra Commander, of the use of reflective surfaces as a storytelling device. And he did not need to do that. Again, that hand does not need to be there in Cobra Commander's visor, but he took the time to put that shadow in there, put that reflection in there, and yeah, just great. On page 5, I really love this page for a couple reasons. It's Destro planting the seed of maybe you should remember what Cobra Commander did to you, Ripper, and why are you so loyal to this guy, because he's not a good dude, was not a good dude to you in the past. And what you see in that second and third panel is what happened in the past. It's a flashback to what happened in the Cobra Commander miniseries. And this is really cool because the Cobra Commander miniseries was all digital. So you didn't really, the Cobra Commander with the smiley face, because he has marked in blood with smiley face on his mask, which is really cool. That book had some horror elements to it, and which you kind of get the vibe here of Cobra Commander torturing Ripper. Has the blood in the mask there. He's got the scar from if I remember correctly, it was Ripper who his chainsaw kind of marked up Cobra Commander's mask. So you get Destro planting the seed of what's going on. Like maybe you should think about that. Think about your allegiance to Cobra Commander. And then we catch up with Duke, who this is a great page because it's an element of Duke's story that we have not seen in a while. Like it's the thing that his motivation was to avenge the death of his friend and find Starscream, go after these robots. So it's a good way to catch up with like what Duke's true mission is. And so he's at the grave of his buddy Frost, and you get that great flashback of the infamous splat moment, which is there are a couple key things that happen in the Energon universe, and that's one of those key scenes. You got the deer scene in Transformers. You've got the splat of Frost, which kind of set Duke on his mission and kind of kicked off the G.I. Joe. So there's a couple key things that they always revisit so far in these series, and this definitely is one of them. So they get that flashback panel is super awesome on that page. Love the reflection of the foliage in Duke's glasses. He gets an incoming message, and it's Clutch and CoverGirl. They're back at the pit, and they're saying, "Hey, we're picking up these interesting signals. You should go check it out." On this page is also cool because you get the mention of Chicago. So it says that Risk, Baroness, and Stalker are out in Chicago checking out the events of what happened there, which is, of course, from the end of issue 24 in Transformers. So it's a good way to kind of connect those two. What's going on places this a little bit. The connection of the timeline has been pretty loose, which I think it has to be. I've mentioned that before. I like that it's you get like bullet points every here and now, or here and again, to show you where things are. They don't always have to perfectly line up and address it beat for beat in Transformers and G.I. Joe, but I like when they do that, where it's places these events somewhat in the Energon universe timeline. This page, the bottom part, so that the fourth panel, there is in the comic, there's an overlay of the map that they're looking at. So you're actually seeing CoverGirl through the reflection of that holographic image of the states. But I love the texturing on her outfit, like her top there with the kind of like, I think he does like either fingerprints, but in this instance, I think it was like maybe like a cotton ball, like kind of, dotted some inks on there, but it just kind of gives the texturing in her top, which I think is really cool. Like at the shoulder bit and then on her chest. That's just really cool. Really like that. It's silhouette of Duke walking away from the grave, also impactful. And then we cut to where Duke goes. This is a double page spread that, again, Tom, he created this double page spread like he's known to do in the past, with a top image and a bottom image. So he has the top, that desert scene that's on an 11 by 17 board, and then the bottom two panels is on a separate 11 by 17 board, and they're drawn horizontally. But yeah, cool. You get the establishing shot of where Duke is off to, where this signal is leading him, and it's in the middle of nowhere. But what does he stumble upon? But Cobra, who is also after the same energy signal. So Cobra Commander on top of the his tank there. Ripper just lounging against there while the troopers are doing some digging. And it's Duke surprised, like, oh my god, I'm out in the middle of nowhere, and here's Cobra Commander, like what the hell is going on? So he tries to radio back to the pit, and all the signals are blocked, so he gets no communication. So like, what's going on here? And then you get this page where Cobra Commander kind of realizes of what's happening. There's they found this device, they pick it up out of the ground, and then there's showing that there's potentially a trap that is happening here. But love again, I love when Tom does those small panels, just get bits of the story. Cobra Commander hopping down from the his tank, stepping through there, grabbing the device, and then all of a sudden there's like, what's happening? And then you see what's happening in the next page. His tank blows up, I love this page for a couple of reasons. Love the explosion. Love what you see there. Love the reflection of the fire in that inset panel of Cobra Commander's mask. Love the body being, the body of the trooper being propelled forward as the blast kind of disintegrates his body. And then that last shot, it pulls out. Like there's this really up close to the action in the first two panels. And then you were reminded, like, they're actually out in the middle of nowhere. So you get this shot of the explosion going on. And in the page, there's a repeating word. It's just like boom, boom, boom. So you get the echo of what's happening. But yeah, that's really sweet. That's really cool. And again, I'll probably just keep saying that's awesome. That's cool. That's whatever. Yeah. Then you get to this page. Holy crap. This page, there's so much ink on this one, and I love there's literally Tom's fingerprints all over it. He kind of dots the inks and stuff in there, but you get the smoke and the flames in the background. The body language of Cobra Commander, who has clearly been knocked down. He's struggling to get up, and he's yelling at the troopers like, fire back, do something, like you're all freaking worthless. And then he realizes that he goes to send a message on his wrist comm there. And in that was the 1, 2, 3 for the fifth panel. There is a shot in the comic where it's just this big red X that's just showing like his communications aren't working. So he's like, all right, screw this. I'll do it myself. So he goes to fire his like hand cannon that he has there. And again, the reflection of the hand in the visor, really awesome. And then this happens. The next page, Ripper has taken Destro's advice and planted the seed that was planted in his brain, and he's getting some revenge on Cobra Commander. So he crushes Cobra Commander's robotic hand there. And again, broken record, but the artists don't need to do this, but like Tom does it all the time. The reflection of Ripper holding like the crushed hand, like in the reflection of Cobra Commander's visor. That's great. I mean, you don't need that. You could just have that panel of him reacting, and that he's looking at Ripper because they're in the scene and he's talking to him. Plus, the next panel shows that he's talking to Ripper. But like to have that extra bit of storytelling on the page is amazing, and I love every time Tom does it. I'm gonna call it out, and I'm gonna say it for give him the praise that he deserves because it's fantastic. And while I'm talking about it, I'm looking at the top panel of Ripper, like in his glasses, there's a reflection of the explosion of Cobra Commander's hand. So yeah, great. There's a trooper that comes up to try to, say like Ripper, like, what are you doing, buddy? And then Ripper turns around, he doesn't turn around. He just, holds his gun back and zaps the guy, which is, I like that. Just dismissive of that guy. And yeah. And I like that Ripper has some powerful moments here. Like it shows that Cobra Commander is smart, but he's not like indestructible. He's not he's a smaller framed human. So it's good to see him kind of be overpowered by Ripper. He's always going to outsmart these guys, but he can also clearly be overpowered, which is, I think, an important thing to see, an important way to develop his character as we go here. Yeah, Ripper's got the upper hand on Cobra Commander, and in comes Duke. You're like, what the heck? So Cobra Commander's like, Duke? Like, what? But it's one of those things where, Duke needs Cobra Commander alive. So he wants him to divulge more information about what's happening in the grand scheme of things. But, so he can't allow Ripper to eliminate Cobra Commander. So he has to align himself with Cobra Commander, or at least, go to protect him. And that just sets up this story arc, which has been great. This awesome page, was this page 17? 9-panel layout of just Duke and Ripper going at it back and forth, having this fight amidst the smoke. Cobra Commander's watching and like he doesn't know what he's like, what? It's fine. These idiots kill each other. I don't care. But again, that second panel, that awesome reflection of them fighting you know that's happening because it's the fight is framed around Cobra Commander, so it's not like you need that, but there it is. It's their silhouettes are in his the reflection, and Tom is a madman. I love it. Absolutely love it. So the Cobra Commander is, it's like, all right, well, if they're going to fight, I'm going to get the heck out of here. And Cobra, and you turn the page, and Duke has other ideas like, no, you're not going anywhere, and he's handcuffed himself to Cobra Commander. Ripper, you see that Duke has overpowered him, and then they're gonna like, all right, we're gonna get out of here. But they are in the middle of nowhere, so what happens when something is off in the distance is rumbling, and you get the dust kicking up from the desert as they're walking to the Jeep and the wreckage of all the vehicles there. And they're like, all right, we got to go. And Ripper is saying, all right, well, guess what? Call for backup, and the Dreadnoks have arrived. So there's this awesome double-page spread. Now, this double-page spread Tom did on 2 full-size 11x17s, so it's a left and a right half, but you get all the awesome vehicles, the Dreadnok cycle, you got Xander, Zarana, and then Thunder Machine is back. So you see like the new and improved like Thunder Machine back there. Yeah, this is great. It's like such a Mad Max moment, which fits the Dreadnoks perfectly. This gang, you usually see them associated with like the swamp and stuff, but like to have them in these crazy vehicles out in the desert, just absolute Fury Road vibes here, and it's great. Ripper's all thrilled that his family is here to rescue him and try to take out Cobra Commander. Duke shuts him up with one last punch, and then it's like, all right, let's get out of here. But yeah, I continue to love the smoke that the cotton ball dotted inks for the smoke that's come throughout here. The speed lines of the Dreadnoks coming in. Yeah, just speed lines of the fist happening there. A little bit of blood that gets spurting up there as he breaks his nose, which is awesome, just awesome. And then you get this page 23 of them all arriving there. We haven't seen. We saw Buzzer he was in the Energon special, which is kind of alluded to the Dreadnok War that was coming. We last saw him before that in the Cobra Commander miniseries, where he lost his hand, so now the chainsaw has replaced his hand, which is great. So you get these kind of establishing shots of Torch and Xander and Zarana as they arrive on the scene. And Duke and Cobra Commander are like, all right, we getting the heck out of here. So I like that they're on the run now. So it's you get Duke and Cobra Commander versus the Dreadnoks, and that's what you get on this page. Is page 24. So that's fantastic. And the issue closes out with we cut back to the Cobra base, and you get all of the main Cobra players have been assembled. That there's this something's going on. There's some announcement that's happening, and you got Major Blood, Chameleon, Mercer, and Destro is making his move. So then you get that last page of Destro on the throne. So when I talked about skipping the second page is an establishing shot of Cobra Commander on that same throne. So it's like it shows that he's in control, he's in power, and then at the end of the issue, Destro is taking that throne. So to create that, since they are both 2 splash pages, Tom drew the throne on one page, and then he drew Destro and Cobra Commander as patches on a separate board. So you get both of those, and I understand like the reasoning of not to draw the page again, and then to kind of have the throne be this clean image, so that way no matter how the positioning of how the figures were, the chair would be fully drawn. So you didn't have to do. I originally thought maybe he drew the Cobra Commander on the throne and then just used Destro as a patch, but then it does make sense to just have the chair be the main element, and then have each of the figures just laid over top of that. So not the ideal situation for an art collector, but I will say that in this instance, I like that both Cobra Commander and Destro are on that same board. So at least it could present nicely in a portfolio. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, Tom's gonna do that. He's gonna like take those not cut corners, but just like do it what makes sense to get the job done the fastest and the most efficient. So it makes sense. But yeah, we'll see. Anyway, that's the end of this issue. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Issue 14 is even crazier, and I hope to see that kind of that get ramped up even more as we go through the Dreadnok War. So one last reminder, this sale at Modern Mythology Comic Art is still going on for the month of November. I'll put the discount codes in the description. And thanks so much for watching this one. I kind of made it quick because I wanted to kind of get through them. I didn't want to have it be too long to linger on too many of the pages, but you don't need me to tell you that how awesome they are as I'm showing them as well. So I hope you enjoyed that, and then I will see you soon with issue 14.